yesterday, obviously, first day of the week in the UK, the working week. And he's like, oh, it's February the 1st, we'll never have to live through January 2021 again. And I thought, it's not a bad point, is it?
Yeah, it
It
is.
wasn't the best.
It's not the best, no.
Wasn't certainly for the guys over in the UK.
Oh, man, no. And I don't think anywhere in the world is it hasn't been good for anyone. And it's, hey, we're okay here. But it's a relative thing. So, yeah, we're okay here, but it's not also.
Yeah, that's what the point. I don't feel right complaining. Things aren't that bad, really, are they?
No.
When you look around.
No.
Wife's healthy, kids are healthy, I'm healthy.
We're working.
Got stuff to keep me busy.
Yeah, there we go.
We're all good. Everything's good. And, there's been plenty of stuff going on.
Oh, man. You know what? I actually was talking with some of my students yesterday. And the advice I gave them was, carve out the portion of the day where you're going to watch or listen to the news, and then the rest of the time, ignore it. And they said, do you do that? I said, absolutely, that's what I do. I tune into the news in the morning. So you're hooking into BBC. I'm hooking into CBC in the morning. I listen to that news. Actually, I temper it. I listen to 30 minutes of CBC, The World at 6, with Susan Bonner. And then I listen to the BBC World News podcast that goes out for another about 30 minutes. So I get this Canadian stuff, and then I get the BBC perspective on the world. And that's my news for the day, 1 hour. And so, I also then look at the national in the afternoon at about 4 o'clock for about 15 minutes. And I don't read the world news in the national.
Local stuff.
I look at the local stuff. I look at the UAE news, and that's it. And the rest of the day, someone says, oh, you keep track of what's going on with COVID? No. Do you know what's going on? What did you hear? It's like, nope.
I could tell you what's happening with COVID. You're going to get it.
It's like.
What are you going to say? That's just the way I think we have to accept that.
Well, and that was the other argument that I had with someone that were going on, and not an argument, but we had a friendly discussion. They said, this vax versus that vax versus this vax. So first we had a discussion about availability in different countries, and it's hard to compare one versus the other if they don't have them in the country because they haven't bought into that vaccine. And the second one, I said, they're going, well, the efficacy rate. And I'm going, hold on, efficacy rate is not the number that should be concerning you. The number that should concern you is if you get COVID with this vaccine, what's the percentage chance that you're going to end up with the worst case scenario? That's the number you want to have, because inevitably you're going to get COVID anyway. So as long as this vaccine, whichever one you're going for, protects you from getting into the ICU, then you're pretty happy. And then what tempered that one is there's a Johnson & Johnson's got a new vaccine coming out, which is kind of cool. One jab, that's kind of neat.
No more tears.
Yeah, exactly. And the lady, the doctor who helped create the Moderna vaccine was talking about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, saying, it's a pretty sweet vaccine. And she didn't have anything to do with it. She's a competing vaccine. She said, that Johnson & Johnson's a pretty sweet vaccine. And she said, you know what? In the world of vaccines, we need to rethink things a little bit. And she said, when we're talking vaccines and we're reading about them, we're talking in terms of we want the perfect vaccine. And she said, you know what we really need to be thinking? We need to be thinking in terms of good enough.
Exactly, yeah.
And she said, if you start thinking in terms of good enough, any vaccine is going to be better than no vaccine.
Exactly.
So get vaccinated.
I mean, how it's a year ago. It's a year ago since I started listening to Dr. John Campbell on YouTube, and he was imploring Boris Johnson in the UK, because Boris Johnson had come out, stiff upper lip, typical Brit. Very little was known at the time anywhere, and said, it's all right, we'll go for herd immunity. Well, herd immunity is 60 or 70%. Well, if you can vaccinate everybody, but it's only 60% effective, you're kind of there, right? Yeah. And everyone's had a shot in the arm. Yeah. That's a lot better than, I've been there, I've dealt with it. Yeah. So I'd rather have a shot in the arm than I hate needles. Yeah. So that's just the way it is, and I don't know anything, but I will still trust the wealth of scientific knowledge that's out there that's dealt with all this.
And actually the best one is, I mean, you know a few doctors, I know a few doctors. And quite frankly, their medical education doesn't mean they can read Lancet Journal any better than you can read the Lancet Journal. And there's a whole bunch of research out there that is available for all of us to read. And
Our World in Data is a fantastic resource.
And so I think if you just start actually educating yourself and reading some of this stuff and getting up on the terminology, the average GP doesn't know anything more about the molecular makeup of things, nor how that molecular makeup works. Yeah. They might have studied a chemistry class at one point in their studies that helps them understand how membrane transfer works. But do they know about new protein-busting viruses and virology? No, they don't.
Everyone's an expert on Facebook, though.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone's
you
an
got to be
expert on
careful.
Facebook.
And that's the thing. You got to be careful.
The interesting thing about this, and this is the last thing obviously, COVID, hey, everyone knows about it. But the interesting thing that sort of novel thing that I've noticed is me and Amy sat and watched a film on Friday called Greenland.
Right. Yeah.
Gerard Butler.
Yes. He's getting old, eh?
So yeah.
What happened to Gerard Butler? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
I know. I'm looking. I'm going, oh.
Because his wife in it, I forget the lady's name, but she was in the original series of Homeland, and she was also in the remake of V about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She's the exact same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gerard Butler's had it hard. I mean, he's been in a lot of hard situations. I mean, he's saved 3 presidents, hasn't he?
Right. Yeah.
Or saved the president 3 times. So he's had it hard. But this film basically is, there's an asteroid coming, it's going to come very close to the Earth, and then they get it wrong, but it's actually going to be an extinction event and everyone's going to go. And without giving anything too much away, the plan is that they're going to get locked down in these underground bunkers, and they're going to ride out the 600 degrees Celsius winds and all this stuff that comes with the extinction impact for up to 9 months. And the first thing I thought was, I bet there's no more cold and flu.
Yeah.
Because everything's dead. Well, 60 or 70% or whatever the prediction was would be life, plant and animal, would be wiped off the face of the earth. But then the people that are in there are all then just going to have had everything in close contact for 9 months, and then there's going to be nothing left.
Yeah.
There'll be no more illness.
Can you imagine?
So it's
got to start fresh.
Amazing. I'm not saying we need an impact of an asteroid, but it makes you think back to the start where we could have probably done, because
and that's the whole thinking of New Zealand and close our doors and we'll limit travel.
One of the things that people I remember saying at the start was, look, the risk of not allowing the virus to go its full phase, if you like, is if you limit social contact, the natural selection is going to mean that the viruses that are if they mutate, the ones that are going to survive are ultimately going to be the ones that are easier to transmit.
Right.
Because the ones that can't transmit can't survive.
Gotcha.
So we've kind of created ourselves a bit of an issue here by half-arsed. So what we need to do is we need to get Gerard Butler, the woman from V, and get in a concrete bunker for 9 months, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah. There are some people, I'm sure, who are doing that. So
why are they normally in like the southern states of America as well?